My name is Shane Caveney. I'm the sales manager for Isovolta. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. I want to talk to you a little bit about Isovolta. We're a manufacturing operation in central Vermont. So for those of you not already aware, this is Rutland, Vermont. So we're talking about 70 miles south of Burlington area. What I have here is just a picture of the plant. This is home for Katrina and I. You'll notice next to the American flag, we have an Austrian flag. Isovolta is owned by a European company. We have plants all over the world. So what do? Isovolta is a leader in manufacturing of electrical insulation. Specifically in the plant in Vermont, we are producing materials that go into high voltage applications, so big generators, large motors. And I'd like to highlight that this plant has been in operation since 1955. So we've, throughout these tumultuous times, been able to continue operating as an essential service, supplying the electrical grid with insulation materials. What we are very much hoping for is to expand our team. Specifically at the moment, we're looking to add some night shift members. So we're talking primarily about manufacturing operators through today's slides. If by any chance there's someone on the call who's an engineer, we'd love to get your resume as well. Baseline benefits are shown on this slide. We do offer some training for folks as needed, and you'll note that after completion of the successful 90-day training program, there would be an opportunity to increase the wage from $16.74 an hour to $17.32 an hour. Katrina, would you like to highlight a couple of the additional benefits?
Yeah, of course. So to start off with, after your first year of employment with Isovolta, you get 80 hours of. We also offer a week of sick time, which is preloaded in January, but if an employee starts in February going forward, it's prorated. So each month, of course, is reduced. We don't want to give a week of vacation or of sick time for employees on us. We have we pay for the 9 major holidays, and we also offer an additional floating holiday that you can use for whatever that you'd like to use. It's just an extra vacation day, essentially. A vision plan, which is 100% employee paid, but for a family, it's typically about $4 or $5 a week. So it's not so bad, and personally, I think it's a great plan. We have a dental plan as well that the company and the employees share. We have medical insurance, and we also have a 401k. So the company matches 100% up to 4%. If you'd like to, you can contribute more than 4%, but the company will only offer 100% up to 4%. Also have life insurance, short-term and long-term disability that the company pays for 100%. We offer the prescription safety glasses, and we offer, so the company pays for anything that the employee absolutely needs, and anything above and beyond that the employee would pay for. And also safety shoes, we offer $75 shoe reimbursement each year for safety shoes. Some highlights of the team environment. These are just added benefits, you could say. We do barbecues and picnics throughout the year, so we try to get the team together as much as possible, and we do celebrations of anniversaries and birthdays. Typically, the anniversary and birthdays are done on a quarterly basis. We get everybody together, we have a luncheon, we celebrate. We do Thanksgiving and Christmas celebrations, as well as, in addition, we have a Christmas party that we go out to a different restaurant and we have a celebration. We end up having dinner together, and we play games, and we just enjoy each other's company. So that's pretty much it for our benefit part.
Great, thank you for that, Katrina, and thanks for the overview. So as you can also see on this slide, I've highlighted some cross-training opportunities. So I'd like to jump right in and talk to you about the individual departments and what some of the requirements and responsibilities would be. I think Katrina did a great job highlighting that it's a team environment, and I will explain to you a little bit about how that fits into your day-to-day in the next slides as well. All right, so we are hiring in one of 5 key areas. I mentioned on the beginning of the call, we're focused primarily on machine operators for these slides. Anybody with manufacturing experience, this is a big plus for us. Again, if you do have an engineering background and you'd like to talk to us, we are always hiring engineers as well. So the departments are split up into slitting and converting, coating and lamination, and paper making. I'm going to show some slides with some pictures about the daily work. But what I'd like you to envision is if you've ever worked with electrical tape in your home on a project, we're talking about similar materials. And those are manufactured in large rolls. They need to then be converted to sizes that customers can use them. So we would call that our slitting department. The manufacturing of the rolls we would call our lamination department. So this is the finished product as it's coming to a customer. You can see that these are various widths, various lengths, different types of materials. The color gives away that the raw materials here are different, or perhaps some resin used is different. But again, if you just envision electrical tape that you'd use in your home, these are very similar. So we talk about mostly 1-inch wide rolls, 36 yards, and they are cut on machines like these. So we're taking full width 40-inch material. We are then converting to necessary size on customer's application. I would like to just also point out on this slide, you see on the right-hand side, some point of use tools. One of the big programs within Isovolta is a continuous improvement process. So some of these are employee ideas. We had a Kanban exercise a couple of years back where some of the employees said, you know, we could be a lot more efficient if we had our tools better organized, if we had pegboards with materials easily accessible. And from a management perspective, we really looked at that and saw some great efficiencies. So we teamed up with the operators in their work centers as they're the real expert in the day-to-day. And we were able to really increase our output and also make the daily work a little bit easier. So again, on the team environment, we're looking for collaboration. We're looking for coordination. And it's really imperative that you'd be able to work well with others. So the material that's being slit or cut to size looks a little bit like what you see on the slide here. So we manufacture this in the coating department, and what we're doing is we're adhering layers together with some sort of resin, epoxy or silicone or polyester. The large industrial machines are used to stage or dry the resins in the adhesion process. So depending on where you could be a good fit for our operation, you could end up working on 2-man teams with laminations, or you could be working individually in the slitting department, or we furthermore manufacture paper, which goes into the backing and gives the material the final electrical properties that we're looking for. So paper manufacturing is a unique process in and of itself. Most people, when they think about paper, they imagine notebook paper, or something you write on, or maybe tissue paper. A lot of manufacturing applications are similar in this regard. However, when we talk about electrical insulation, there are some unique characteristics in terms of paper manufacturing. We use raw materials, including rocks. So mica is a silicate, and we have a special process at Isovolta where we are able to take the rock, pulp it, and disintegrate it in a way that we can form it into a sheet of paper. This then, as I mentioned, gets laminated to other layers of materials and then further slit. So again, on the teamwork, this is a 2-person team. You're managing pulping apparatus along with the paper machine as well. And I'll show you some pictures of that here. So we have on the left-hand side a dewatering operation. We've now finished pulping the rock or the raw material, if you will, and we're dewatering in a way that we are able to then wind up the material, as you'll see in the final slide on the next page here. So we're a unique property. This is done in approximately a dozen manufacturing plants across the world. So really quite unique. Isovolta is a global leader in high voltage insulation. So we're competing with between 3 and 5 other main companies across the world. And we have extensions to sell our materials into Asia, into South America, into really all the corners of North America. But just to look at some of the manufacturing processes within our plant and maybe some interesting opportunities for you to consider. Additionally, the adhesion of the layers requires some chemicals. So you do have the opportunity working in our plant to learn a little bit about epoxies or learn about silicones. We have quite a lot of test methods. We're studying viscosity, things like solid content ranges. If you imagine honey, like honey you would have in your cupboard at home, your pantry, at different temperatures, the honey reacts differently. The honey would be thinner if it was hotter, or in a very cold situation where maybe you put it in a refrigerator, it would crystallize. And so we have some methods to deal with all of those topics. And for the operators, it can be a really interesting career development path. In the earlier slides, I had also highlighted cross-training, and I just want to mention one more time that we do look for employees to grow. We are expecting and hoping that you'll become an expert in one of the processes and then be eager to learn another. So we've allowed in the production contracts to reward this sort of learning. As you learn individual jobs, there's pay scale increases. So an employee who is qualified in 2 departments earns considerably more than an employee who's only doing one job function. So this can also be a good day-to-day breakup into the type of work you're doing. It might be that one day you're in the coating department and another day mixing resin, for example. So just wanted to highlight again that these are some options for you. And at the bottom of the slide, you'd see that the majority of our folks who have taken place in a cross-training program, if in fact they've achieved 3 qualifications, that the wages we feel are quite competitive. So $18.67 per hour after a few years on the job could be a real attainable goal for anybody considering.
Thank you both for this great presentation. And all of a sudden, Isovolta, the name, clicks with me. So it's voltage isolation is what I'm getting. Am I right?
Indeed. Yes, that's correct.
There you go. So the other thing I wanted to do is, Katrina, for some reason or another, your audio was breaking in and out.
Okay.
There was a very nice benefit that you mentioned, something about 80 hours, and I wasn't sure what it was. Can you repeat that benefit, or any benefits that you think will really, make people be interested?
Yeah, of course. So the 80 hours was for the vacation. So after an employee's been with the company for a year, they get 80 hours or 2 weeks of vacation. I'm not sure if you guys heard that we also offer 40 hours of sick time as well. That is preloaded at the beginning of the year and prorated after, from February to December, depending on when the employee starts working. But we do preload the 40 hours in January for the employees to be able to use essentially as they wish. Once the sick time is gone, it's gone. So unfortunately, you can't call in sick and then say, I'd like to use sick time. We do offer the 9 major holidays. So I always like to talk about Thanksgiving and Christmas time, because at the end of the year, it's really nice. We get Thanksgiving, we get Black Friday off. We also get Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. So at the end of the year, it's actually a pretty it's a pretty nice time. We get a lot of holiday time.
It sounds terrific. It makes me want to come and work there.
I mean, it's pretty great. I actually look very forward to the end of the year because of those 6 extra days that we get.
Katrina and Shane, thank you very much for sponsoring this hour. Really appreciated both the enthusiasm for Isovolta and also the information you provided.